Today, we're going to crack open the black box of artificial intelligence. We're all pretty blown away by how human-like AI can be, but we're about to dig into the deep, fundamental differences between how we think and how an AI, how it generates its answers.
We use these tools for literally everything now, from writing emails to planning vacations. But what is actually going on under the hood? Have you ever stopped to really ask that? That's the exact question we're diving into today.
And then let's be real, the results can feel like straight-up magic. AI can create essays, write code, have conversations, and a lot of the time, you can't even tell it's not a person. But that fluency, it creates a really powerful illusion, and that's what we're here to take apart.
Okay, let's get into it. To really wrap our heads around how AI works, we first have to peel back this human-like illusion and take a good, hard look at the machinery behind the curtain.
So, at its very core, a large language model is just a ridiculously powerful pattern matching machine. It's basically read the entire internet, books, articles, everything, and it's learned the statistical probability of which word is most likely to come after another. It's not understanding ideas, it's calculating word connections. That superpowered autocomplete analogy, it's perfect.
The researchers who study this stuff describe it beautifully. Just imagine a giant map connecting every word to every other word. The most traveled roads on that map are the highest probabilities. When an LLM writes something, it's just taking a walk on this map, hopping from one likely word to the next. It's not trying to find the truth, it's just trying to follow the most well-worn statistical path.
Okay, so if it's all just a big game of probability, where do things start to break down? Well, this is where we find what the research calls epistemological fault lines. These are the fundamental cracks, the deep divides in how an AI knows something versus how we do.
Now, this image is so important because it shows two totally separate paths to what we call a judgment. You've got the human pipeline on one side and the LLMs on the other. Now, they might arrive at a similar-looking answer, but the journey to get there, radically different. Let's break down exactly where they diverge, starting right at the beginning with the input.
For us, it all starts with the real world, right? Our judgments are grounded in what we see, hear, and feel. An LLM's entire world, its whole reality, is just text. It doesn't perceive a situation, it just gets a string of symbols. We look at a scene and we parse it for meaning, for intent. The AI, it just mechanically chops up the text into little pieces called tokens.
And this slide right here shows you exactly why that mechanical process is such a huge deal. The source material gives this wild example of the word therapist being broken down into the and rapist. A human would never make that mistake because we understand the concept. This shows you, clear as day, that the AI isn't reading for meaning. It's just following a rule, and it completely misses the real-world idea.
All right, next up, processing. We draw on our memories, our lived experiences, our intuition. In LLM, it only has statistical patterns. Our thinking is driven by goals, by emotions, by what we want. An LLM has no desires. Its only motivation is to reduce its prediction error. And this one is so important. We try to understand why things happen. An LLM can only ever see that two things often happen together. That's correlation, not causation.
And finally, we get to the output. We humans have this amazing thing called metacognition. It's the ability to know what we don't know, to feel uncertain. An LLM completely lacks this. It's designed to always give a confident answer, which is why it can hallucinate and make things up so convincingly. And our judgments, they have real stakes. They reflect our values. An LLM's output is just a prediction. It has absolutely no skin in the game.
So what's the actual danger in all of this? Look, it's not just that the AI might be wrong sometimes. The real risk is how its plausible, super confident-sounding answers can trick us into switching off our own critical thinking.
The researchers have a fantastic term for this, epistemia. It's what happens when an answer just sounds so good, so plausible, that we accept it as true, without actually doing the hard work of thinking it through for ourselves.
And this quote just nails it. We get that satisfying feeling of having an answer, that aha, I know it moment, but we've completely skipped the entire mental process of judgment that creates real knowledge. We've basically become passive consumers of answers instead of active thinkers.
Honestly, the best way to think about it is like this. It's cognitive junk food. It's fast, it's easy, and it feels really good in the moment. But it's an empty-calorie version of knowledge. It doesn't have any of the essential nutrients, like critical evaluation, verification, and true understanding, that our brains actually need to thrive. So, if we're surrounded by all this cognitive junk food, what are we supposed to do?
The key is to develop what the research calls epistemic literacy. Basically, it just means becoming a smarter, more aware user of AI.
It really comes down to 3 key steps. First, pipeline awareness. Just always remember, you're talking to a pattern matcher, not a thinking being. Second, procedural safeguards. You've got to build the habit of checking its work. The more important the task, the more you need to verify. And third, and this is the big one, preserve human judgment. The final call, the accountability, the responsibility for any decision made with AI, that is always on us.
And really, that's the question we all need to keep in our minds. AI can give us answers all day long, but judgment, that true, accountable, value-driven judgment, that's a deeply human act. And as these tools get more and more powerful, remembering that difference is more important than ever. Thanks for tuning in.